very good evening to everyone watching us. Around 50 people have joined us to witness that awesome trailer that we just now saw. And just for an information, that is done by our very own video editor who has been doing trailers since past so many seasons for us, our very own Koushik Tummala. And definitely that was a big hype for the start of the biggest season ever that we are going to have here at IRC, especially with the crossplay enabled this season. It's definitely gonna be a big deal, and the championship is gonna be even more exciting. But without keeping you guys waiting, let me introduce you guys to my co-commentator today, who will be participating with me to reveal to you guys who will be your teammates and what you guys will be fighting for. Simply himself has joined me in the comms box today. So Simply, thoughts on that trailer and what do you expect from this season going forward?
I mean, that trailer I think is the best trailer I've ever seen. I mean, there's so much effort and put into it that I'm literally out of words. I've watched it about 5 or so times already and I still can't get enough of it. It's an absolutely amazing that we've gotten. As far as the season's concerned, well, it is our 10th season. It takes a lot of time and effort to get here. So, yeah, it's going to be quite fun to see how people fight for the glory, because again, it is a 10th season, and you know, going to be a lot of efforts put into the from the drivers and of course everyone else as well. So it's going to be quite a fun season to watch, to say the least.
Yeah, definitely. We have our first donation of the stream also coming from Ashray. Unfortunately, I can't read what he has written because that does not is something that we stand by. But we have 60 viewers joining us, so let's begin with the grid reveal itself. And obviously, before I start with the grid reveal, I would like to tell that the journey from when we actually announced the season and open the sign-ups till now have been a very difficult one for everyone in the coordinating team as well as the admin team, because the drivers are just getting better and better, and we only have 20 slots in one of the tiers, so we can't really do anything in terms of putting everyone in one tier. But we tried our best to give the best opportunity to the best drivers that we have that signed up with us. Speaking of sign-ups, we had more than 100 plus sign-ups, and we could still see many people signing up as the days are passing by, but unfortunately we couldn't include them right now in the grid. But you will definitely be getting a reserve position or maybe a permanent seat going forward, as the coordinators will be handling with you. But without further delay, let's go through the Yes, sorry for that small pause in my audio there, because there were some technical difficulties. But basically what I was telling is the event flow is gonna be tier 4 followed by tier 3, then tier 2, and then tier 1. I know some people might not be happy with this flow because they would be expecting the the higher tier to be revealed first, but unfortunately we have to build up the hype, we have to keep the hype, we have to keep people engaged in the stream, and that's why we are following this order. For team or the constructor that we will be following, we will be having the order of Haas, McLaren, Aston Martin, Ferrari, Alpine, Mercedes, Red Bull, Alfa Romeo, Alfa Tauri, and then we will end up with Williams, followed by the reserve drivers for basically that tier that we have. And obviously many of you will have the questions, why 100 sign up? and only 4 tiers. Well, obviously some of our drivers did not opt for going for a full-time seat, maybe because of their schedule, their commitment, myself included, and obviously we opted for a reserve seat in their specific tier rather than going for a permanent seat. But we do have scope in future for adding couple of things, and we obviously have all our tiers and their reserve seats empty. So without further delay, let's start off with this grid reveal, and we have the tier 4. Okay, so as I was telling, we will be starting off with the tier 4, and we will be having the tier 4 race on Saturdays 8 p.m. IST. And to start off, we have the pairing of In the Haas of Nitro and Wikibiki. Both of them have been driving with us from the past couple of races, and they will be continuing a pairing here, and we will be seeing how they come up with as the season progresses forward.
Indeed, and coming up with the McLaren pairing here for Tier 4, we have Redman and Hangman. Quite a new driver pairing as well for us here in IRC. We have seen them in a few social races before, but they're yet to prove themselves in our league. So this will be an interesting pairing to see for sure as to if they can fight for the WCC, if either of them could fight for the WDC. So yeah, it'll be. I know not a lot to say, but yeah, quite interesting to watch them.
Yeah,
It's about
definitely.
sure.
We will be having an eye on them. Moving forward, we have the pairing of Dante Adams and Supreme Kai in the Aston Martin, who will be fighting it out for the boys up ahead. Supreme Kai again has been racing with us from the past couple of seasons, but was off the game, I think, in the last season. But he's been paired with one of our newcomers, and we'll see how this pairing works out and what all both of them teach each other as they progress through this entire league.
For sure, and then we have the pairing of Adi and Guni. Adi, of course, being an old member but wasn't really active with the racing side of things. But Guni, he's raced with us before, and at least for me, I believe that Guni will be the main driver to look out for in this tier. He has proved himself before, and he is quite a good driver. So yeah, it's going to be quite interesting to see where he will end up this season.
Yeah, definitely. We will keep an eye on that pairing. But moving on, we have the pairing of Alpine. In the Alpine, we have the pairing of Shrock and Tembu. Again, Shock, sorry, not Shrock. Not to be confused with Shrock. We have two different drivers with almost the same name, but this is the Shock we are talking about here, guys. So this is the pairing of Shock and Tembu. I think Shock is also a newcomer in this community, and recently he was added in IRC team as well because he chose to contribute something for all the work that we do here. And Tembu again will be racing with us, and we will be seeing what this pairing can pull out in terms of constructor battle.
For sure, moving on to the driver pairing of Mercedes here for Season X, we have Prabal and Orpheus. Quite a hard name to say, but again, new drivers here that we have in our league, and both of them have done a few races with us. So again, all I can say is they will be quite interesting to watch, and I believe that both of them actually are not quite used to the game yet. They've only bought it recently, so it'll be interesting to see how much they progress throughout the season.
Yeah, definitely. We'll keep an eye on that. And moving on, we have the famous pairing of Cheater Charles and Vicious Gaming. Again, both newcomers. I think they haven't raced with us in any league yet. I might be wrong on that, and simply you can correct me on that. But yeah, we will be having a look at them, and we'll see where they can fare out. Tier 4 seems like a battle of the newcomers mixed with the
Yep.
old veteran drivers, and it will be exciting to see how this pairing lasts.
For sure, it'll be quite a mix as we move on to the driver pairing of Alfa Romeo with Rogers and Existence. Not to be confused with the other Existence that we have without the E. Again, new driver pairing, and as you mentioned, it'll be quite interesting to see the battle between the old drivers that we have and the new ones like these guys. They have a lot to prove for themselves. So yeah, we'll see how they go throughout the season.
Yeah, definitely. We'll keep an eye. And moving on, we have the pairing of A. Hoover, and username was taken. A really unique name that I found in our, in our whole roster that we were evaluating yesterday. But definitely, username not taken shall show that whether his position was also not given. So that's what we'll see on the track when he's paired with Hoover in the AlphaTauri.
Yep, moving on to the final pairing for Tier 4 in Williams, we have Jagdish and Shan 7. Jagdish also being one of our photo editor teams, so it's going to be interesting to see where he can place himself on the grid now because we haven't seen him race. But Shan, he is quite a bit of a veteran driver in other sims, so it will be very interesting to see what he can do in F1.
Yeah.
While we're at it, you saying, PP?
Yeah, I was just telling ki Tier 4 looks spicy. Bit of mix of new people as well as the old timers are there, and it can be a battle of experience as well, which we can expect from
Sure.
Tier 4. So we'll definitely have an exciting race to watch, even if it's not streamed on our YouTube, but definitely it will be streamed in our public VCs. So we can have a look there, and we can have some fun seeing this race happen.
Sure, it will be quite interesting to watch. And now that we're done with Tier 4, let's move on.
So the Tier 3, moving on to Tier 3, we have the timings for this tier will be at the same time when Tier 4 is happening, that is on Saturdays at 8 p.m. Definitely these timings were chosen based on the logistics of our coordinating team, as well as the best that our drivers will feel comfortable, and the hype and the excitement that we can keep out throughout a weekend. So this is the time that we are going with for our Tier 3 grid, which will be running parallelly with Tier 4, and obviously Tier 3 will be having a stream on our official IRC YouTube channel. Speaking of which, if you are not subscribed to it, do consider subscribing, and consider hitting the bell notification, just in case you wanna witness all the glory and all the beautifulness of the race that goes on here at IRC. But starting off with the driver pairing itself, first of all, we have the pairing in the Haas, the pairing of Mist and Aces Scoop. Obviously, the old names are coming back as we go forward through the tiers. We will be seeing some familiar names here and there. So this is where we start off with. So Mist and Aces Scoop. Aces Scoop has been participating regularly in our leagues, and then Mist, again, I think he has been on a break for 1 or 2 seasons, but he is back this season, and he will be paired with Aces Scoop this season, and we'll see what this pairing can do.
For sure, moving on to the pairing of McLaren, we have Blaze 555 and paired with not an influencer. Blaze has been racing with us for quite a while now, for a few seasons, so he is a veteran driver with us. Not an influencer though, on the other hand, a new driver to see. So we will have to see if Blaze can mentor not an influencer into helping each other out in winning the WCC here in Tier 3.
Well, if I have only one question for this pairing, if not an influencer is watching this stream, I would like him to type in the chat if he is actually an influencer or not. So that is one question reply that I am waiting for. But anyways, I will be keeping an eye on the chat for that. But till he replies, let's move on to the next pairing in the Aston Martin of Jinan and Drac. Again, Jinan coming back after a couple of seasons here with IRC, he was definitely there with us and he was up there with the top boys, but he needs to get back in the game and he needs to catch up to the people who have been participating with us regularly and being, racing with us. And he has been paired with Drac. Again, Drac, a newcomer who has a lot to learn here in terms of league racing, which he can definitely gain being a teammate of Jinan here. So we will be having a look at this pairing.
We indeed will. Moving on to the pairing of Ferrari here, we have Uday 69, nice, and S Maridu. Uday, of course, being another one of those drivers who we have seen in the past seasons. He's been a pretty solid driver on his day. S Maridu, on the other hand, I believe his name is Sandeep, so I'll just call him Sandeep. He's a new face in IRCs, so both of them again have a point to prove here to show that perhaps they could be challenging for the WCC and the WDC for Uday.
Yeah, definitely. I can see a lot of conversation in the chat going on where people are trying to guess which tier which driver will be in, and I'm loving that conversation. Continue that. I'm having some great masala in the background, and I will be definitely be seeing whose predictions were correct. But moving on, we have the pairing of Mighty Owl and Vinay in the Alpine. So again, both veteran drivers. Vinay has been racing with us since I don't know when, probably season 4, season 5. He has the experience of league racing. Mighty Owl, again, a very good driver. And I think, were they, teammates last season?
I believe they were, yes.
I'm not sure. Maybe this pairing never comes to an end, but we'll get back to that information by the end of the stream. But yeah, that's what we have, and we will see what they can do.
For sure. Moving on to the driver pairing of Mercedes, we have Racer and Swagger Turbo. Racer and Swagger, well, interesting pairing to say the least, because Racer has been quite decent, I would say, in the social races and the 5 lappers we have done, and he's been there fighting for at least the top 5. Swagger, of course, he's raced with us, so we'll again have to see how consistent the both of them could be in carrying Mercedes for this season, because both of them are a bit prone to mistakes, but nonetheless both of them are pretty good drivers themselves and definitely podium contenders on their good day.
Yeah, definitely. This Mercedes is something that will need some, anyways, we have equal cars, but still, just as a real life reference, we definitely need to see something pulled out from that Mercedes because we have been seeing a bit of too much of Red Bull dominance nowadays. But anyways, moving on to the actual dominating car in the current season and the previous season, the Red Bull, we have a pairing of Mamu and Mohan. So again, Mohan being a very quick driver on the grid on the time trial sheet that we saw, and Mamu again, he has been racing a lot with us from the past so many days. I can definitely see him already. A couple of his friends telling Red Bull let's go and all in the chat, and yeah, we'll see what pairing what this pairing can do. And I can definitely speak from personal experience. Mamu can be a very good teammate because of the entertainment factor that he brings in. You might be getting bored of the same old jokes that he cracks, but at one point you do appreciate all the fun that he brings.
Yeah, that is absolutely true. Moving on to the driver pairing of Alfa Romeo, we have Wolf Imperia and Ritesh. Wolf Imperia, again a new face in IRC, whereas Ritesh, a seasoned one, got his first apologies there, got his first win with us last season. So yeah, Ritesh is looking solid. Of course, unfortunately couldn't really do well last season because of circumstances, but Ritesh nonetheless has a lot to prove. We have seen him, what he can do. He's been on the podium a couple times, he's won as well. So Ritesh definitely going to be mentoring Wolf Imperia to helping Alfa Romeo win the WCC, and as well as helping Ritesh win the WDC this season.
Yeah, definitely. I can already see Swagger Turbo throwing shades at everyone in Tier 3. So everyone who has been announced in Tier 3, keep an eye out for Swagger Turbo. He's already claiming that he will be winning the WDC there. So that's your one target that you can keep, to at least beat him when the actual league race starts. But moving on to the pairing in AlphaTauri of Mr. Raut and Deadshot. So again, both of them old drivers, have been racing with us. Both have experience of the track. Both are a bit, so both are really good in racecraft as well. So I think this pairing is definitely gonna help them get to the top of the WCC, but we'll have a look throughout the season how they do and what they can pull out.
Yep, for sure. It'll be again a point to prove for them. Whereas here in Williams, we have EP10 and Ripe. It is not R1P3, it's Ripe. But yeah, again, EP10, we saw him recently in Regions Cup, and he was indeed doing quite well. So again, point to prove for EP10 to show what he can do in the league races, whereas Ripe, again a veteran driver, took a season off, but he's back, and for sure I would say this team could be there for the WCC.
Yeah, definitely. This team definitely shows some potential, and Ripe coming back after a season break. So we'll have a look at what this pairing can do in terms of the constructor. But without further delay, moving on to the next, that is our reserves for Tier 3. So we will be having Eric Griffin, who is a reserve driver in Tier 3. So he will be there to supplement any left seats in terms of attendance, or if a driver who has been given a permanent seat till now decides to forfeit their seat, or they do not meet the attendance criteria, Eric Griffin will be taking their place. But as of now, Eric Griffin has been put in reserve of Tier 3. But with that, this brings us to the end of our Tier 3 grid reveal. Obviously, I see around 50 people watching us, so definitely I would like to give a small Easter egg. So do stick till the end of the stream, because we have something extra to show you guys, and that will be sort of like a fun thing we do, as well as some announcements that we have towards the end of the stream. So do stick with us to the end, and we are trying to keep it as short as possible and as concise. But without further delay, let's move on to the Tier 2. So yes, starting with Tier 2. So Tier 2 will be held on Sundays at 2:30 p.m. So that is our afternoon slot on the Sundays. So Tier 2, we are expecting to be very close, because we had a lot of difficulty in deciding Tier 2 and Tier 3, like who gets to be in Tier 2 as well as in Tier 1 and Tier 3. So this first three tiers were a really tricky point for us, and we will be definitely be having some exciting and close racing in Tier 2. But starting off with the pairing itself, we have the Haas pairing of Heisenberg and Shrey. Obviously, both experienced drivers, nothing much to say. Both are good on track, good on racing, good in racecraft. It's all comes down to how consistent they are, how well their team synergy is, and we'll see where this pairing can go. But I'm expecting them to be in the top of the podiums.
For sure, they could be there. They both have the drivers to do so. Moving on, we have the pairing of McLaren between Saurav Pat and King James. Saurav Pat and King James, both, it's quite a seasoned team, I would like to say. Both of them have been with us for quite a while, so they will have to prove now that they have it in them to fight for the WCC, which I believe they could fully be, because of their pace that we have seen throughout the seasons, as well as their experience.
Yeah, definitely. Let's move on to the pairing of our very own F1 team lead, Inc. with Sai. So we will have a very interesting pairing. Obviously, Sai has not a very good reputation in our community when it comes to being consistent on the track, but I'm pretty sure Inc. will be there to scold him from behind. And I'm pretty sure there will be certain bets being put whenever Sai and Inc are racing together. So I am pretty sure this is gonna be a very fun VC to be in when the race is going on, for sure. Speaking of VC, obviously in our league we do have private VCs for all our constructor, so that they can strategize, have some fun, and enjoy the league racing.
Yeah, before we move on, I'm looking at the comments right now and quite a mixed bag of reactions. But yeah, really interesting to read. Moving on to our next driver pairing in Ferrari, we have Alex and Axel Sam. Alex, of course, it is smooth operator Alex, I believe his full name is. He's been with us for a couple of seasons himself, gotten a few podiums or close to them here and there in the last few seasons. Quite a seasoned veteran himself. As far as Axel Sam goes, he is part of the coordination team with us, and he used to be the lead for the Xbox tier when we used to run separately because of no crossplay. But yeah, Sam and Alex, both of them a pretty good pairing, I would say. Sam carries a lot of knowledge about this game, and Alex has quite a bit of pace, so it will definitely be very interesting to see where this driver pairing ends up.
Yeah, definitely. So, I had a question. Alex, is he a part? Was he a part of Xbox as well?
Alex was not.
Okay.
That's a different Alex. I know
Okay.
who you're talking about.
Yeah.
But that's a completely different Alex.
Yeah, there are too many names in this community now to get to keep getting confused amongst them. So that's why I was just gonna say, ki, is this a pairing of the Xbox boys? But obviously Sam has come to PC now, so he's no more playing on Xbox. Hopefully he's enjoying the PC experience after his transition. But nevertheless, this is what we will be watching when we are seeing the constructor battle. But moving on to the pairing of FIFA Canuck and Existence in the Alpine. So again, both of them seasoned veterans, have been driving with us. FIFA Canuck again showed a tremendous amount of racecraft and consistency in the last race, and Existence was up there with his pace and his strategy. So this pairing can be a very interesting pairing and can be a top contender for WCC. So we'll have a look on what this pairing can do, and we'll see where they finish.
For sure, Existence as well. Quite a bit of point to prove from him. Moving on to the Mercedes driver pairing, we have Faizan and Jose Hero 007. Faizan and Jose, both of them have been with us again. They're both quite seasoned veterans here in IRC. Faizan, I believe he's been at least the WDC here once. I'm not sure. Please do correct me on that. But Faizan will definitely be. I don't mean to point anything out, but he will be the more experienced and the faster driver in this team. Although I'm not saying Jose is any slower. Both of them a very very good driver pairing, and both of them have a pretty solid shot at the constructors champions as well for tier 2.
Yeah, definitely. I also think the same. And considering the experience that Faizan brings in terms of league racing, Jose Hero can definitely have some good company there in the VC, and maybe a lot of things to learn amongst both of them. But yeah, moving on to the next pairing of the Red Bull, we have Dark Knight and ABD. I did see a couple of people in the chat telling that ABD is reserve, but sorry to break your heart, but ABD is definitely not a reserve. He will be fighting with you, provided that you are also in tier 2. But he will be fighting amongst us, and he is paired with Dark Knight, and both of them definitely very experienced. One of them being a coordinator as well. So we will be seeing a lot of fun strategies and racing coming from this pairing, and being paired in the Red Bull. I think ABD is destined to perform better. That's what he has told me. So let's see. We will hold him to that, and we'll see what this pairing can do.
For sure, it'll be interesting to see again, as you said, what they can do. Moving on, we have the pairing in Alfa Romeo. We have A Goswami and BK19. Arnab Goswami, PlayStation driver. I'm just going to call him Arnab because that's more convenient and obvious reasons. But yeah, Arnab, PlayStation driver, has joined our leagues recently. He performed quite well in Regions Cup that we had just a few months ago, and followed with BK19. So quite a quick driver pairing that we have between the two of them. So it will be for sure a challenge for WCC, but there could be challenge for WDC between the two teammates here as well.
Definitely. A couple of people in the chat, especially Sai Tarun, is telling rigged. I'm not sure whether he is telling his pairing with Ink was rigged, or what are you trying to indicate. So maybe you can clarify till I move on to the next pairing in the AlphaTauri of Face Crack and Deepak Raj. Again, Deepak Raj coming back to F1 after having a love-hate relationship with this game, but he's back with medium TC this time, and hopefully that's what helps him get up to the pace and up to the top of the podiums that we have. And obviously Face Crack, relatively new driver, is definitely gonna learn a lot in terms of learning from Deepak Raj whatever happens from him. A couple of people are pointing out that maybe Face Crack name spelling is wrong, but if it is so, I would like to apologize from my side. Maybe one K or something we have missed. Maybe it's not exactly Face Crack, it's CKK or something like that. But anyways, moving on to the next pairing.
Sure, we have the final pairing for tier 2. We have WTF Chicken and Strendy. WTF Chicken being a very quick driver, so I would say he's for sure going to be fighting for the WTC, provided he will be attending the races, because of course, you know, he does have quite a busy schedule, so might not be able to do so. But when he is, do look out for him, because he will for sure be fighting for the wins here. And as far as Strendy goes, it's the same situation for him. He was racing, he was dominating his tier, so it's going to be a pretty solid driver pairing that we have. And of course, the whole driver pairing for tier 2 has been quite solid, so there's going to be multiple teams and drivers fighting for WDC and WCC respectively.
Yeah, definitely we'll keep an eye on this pairing. But finishing off tier 2 with the reserves that are there in tier 2, so we have Fredo, Meroth, Sager, I'm not gonna even attempt to pronounce that name because I am definitely gonna butcher that. Utkarsh and Sukuyomi. Palutra.
It's Palutra. You
Okay.
can call him Steel Sneeze. You can call him
Okay,
Steel Sneeze.
Steel Sneeze. Yeah, I think he is one of our old drivers, and I don't know why he decided to change his name. Maybe to make my life difficult, and that's what he has succeeded in definitely here. So that's our reserve drivers that are there in tier 2. Obviously, these drivers are reserves because of either them not opting, majorly because them not opting to be taking one of the permanent seats that we have in our league. But yeah, that brings us to an end of our tier 2 grid reveal. Final grid reveal, which is our tier 1 grid reveal before the Easter egg and the surprise. So these are our top of the line, the best of the best that we thought from the 100+ signups that we got. And here we go without. So starting off with the tier 1, obviously no brainer, the times will be on Sundays at 8 p.m. IST. So we will be having the grid reveal, we will be having the tier 1 league race at that time. Obviously more information on the assist restrictions and the league rules and everything will be provided to you guys in the next 1 or 2 days once the stewards finalize all the nooks and crannies of this league, and you will definitely be getting your respective roles as well, so you will be tagged and you can definitely go through that. And thanks to Shashank Rao for donating 100 rupees there and he is definitely congratulating the coordinators for putting in the effort to make this grid and deal with all the signups, and Simply is here thanking you for that donation. But yeah, moving on with the grid reveal itself, the biggest tier of the biggest season here at IRC. These are the drivers that you will be seeing on the track starting this weekend itself. We have first of all the pairing of Aradhya Gupta and Shashank in the Haas. So definitely very quick drivers. No need to say the statement for the entirety of the tier 1 because I think everyone is as quick as the other driver. So it's literally like I don't know who is gonna come out on top in that race. So here we have Aradhya Gupta and Shashank, where obviously Shashank recently being promoted to tier 1, so I'm pretty sure Shashank would be very happy, and I am pretty sure he will be soon putting his thoughts in the chat after being promoted into tier 1. Maybe a bit more happiness can be shown. We'll see. We'll keep an eye on the chat for that, if you know what I mean. But anyways, Aradhya Gupta being our seasoned driver, he will be definitely having all the experience of of the tier 1 and the strategies and the play and the mind tricks that go in tier 1, because tier 1 there is some some sort of strategy for when it comes to mind games. Obviously in the chat we have Gryphus, a long time no see, with 5 euros or pounds. Is that euros or pounds? Pounds. Okay, sorry. I am not very good with global currencies, but thanks for the £5, and definitely one of our old one of our old admins as well, so he knows everything that goes down in this community. But yeah, that's it. We will be having a look at this pairing, and we'll see what they can do as we go through this season.
Yeah, can I also point out before we move on, I'm absolutely loving the Haas puns that we have in the chat, so please keep them coming as we go on. But yeah, moving on to the next driver pairing of Anirudh and SimplyYT. Anirudh, a new driver here, but he's done quite a few social races with us. He's done quite a few file lappers with us, and he's a pretty quick driver. And for sure, he's gonna be there for.
I wanna hear you appreciate yourself. Come on, Simply, do it.
As far as it goes for SimplyYT, already he's won a WDC before here. He's won a WCC as well, and quite a quick driver himself. Has a lot to prove because he went from a wheel to controller and has been on a controller for quite a while. So, yeah, quite an interesting driver pairing. Perhaps both of them will be fighting for the WDC. WCC is for sure on the cards. So, yeah, quite an interesting team.
Very good hopes you have for the season, and 2 cents about himself from about what he thinks about this pairing. But moving on, I thought that this combination that we are following, splitting the drivers, might not end up you having to commentate on yourself, but unfortunately here we are. But anyways, moving on to the next pairing, we have the pairing of Black Sheep and Tanish in the Aston Martin. Black Sheep, again, we already know, 2 OP. Tanish, again, 2 OP on his days, maybe not 2 OP on his not so good days, but definitely if Tanish gets it right, this can be, Aston Martin can actually be doing what real life Aston Martin is doing this season. So we can definitely see that happening from this pairing that we have in front of us. But yeah, those are my 2 cents on this pairing. Nothing else can be said about this.
I mean, yeah, quite a solid pairing. Black Sheep, Tanish. Again, as you said, both of them on a good day will be there for the top 3. So nothing more to say really. Moving on to the driver pairing of Ferrari, we have Pri the Pro and SSJ Assassin. Pri, of course, being my teammate in the previous seasons, and all I can say about him is a very, very quick driver. For sure, will be in contention for the WDC this season, and SSJ Assassin as well, a very, very quick driver. So I am placing my bets on this team winning the WCC for this season. But yeah, a very solid driver pairing, and absolutely a suggestion from me to you guys that keep an eye out on this driver pairing, as well as, of course, all the other ones, because it's tier 1. All of them are quite close for fighting, but especially this one, because for sure be up there.
Yeah, definitely. And I am seeing a lot of people in the chat sharing the same views that you shared here. And SD, I have noticed that a message from Shubham Das has been coming, that he has been telling every other constructor as OP. So I want to see whether he types the same message when his constructor comes. But yeah, anyways, many of the chat people share the same views. And thanks to Rahul Rajiv for donating 50 rupees for the stream here. I definitely did not write a message for us to shout out to. But moving on to the pairing of Streeter and Ashtray in the Alpine. Streeter, the Alpine boy, he has been driving the Alpine, I think, even in the last season, and I'm pretty sure he's well settled in that Alpine there. And he will be paired with Ashtray, still a person who needs a lot to learn, but Streeter having all the experience that he has since he has joined IRC. I think he's one of the oldest members, and definitely he has a lot of knowledge and gyan that he has to bring to the table. And Ashtray being the young blood, the one who can show on the track, this pairing can be interesting to watch out for.
For sure. Again, Ashtray on his very, very good distance. I've literally seen him drive for about 3 years now. Very quick driver. On his solid day, he could for sure be fighting there for the podiums. in our races. Moving on to our Mercedes pairing, we have Helium and Extreme. Extreme, I believe, getting a promotion from a previous tier. I think tier 2 or tier 3 he was in, and he's been promoted up into tier 1 to show what he can do. Quite a quick driver himself. Helium, of course, a seasoned veteran, has been here for quite a long time. It's going to be a pretty solid pairing, and alongside the Ferrari pairing, that I want you guys to watch out for, this Mercedes pairing as well is the one to look out for as well, because Helium, the amount of pace and experience he brings in will for sure account to a proper battle in the front for the WCC and WDC.
Yeah, definitely. I can see a lot of shots being fired in the chat right now, so I would just ask you guys to keep it civil. It's just race after all, just something to be competitive about over the weekends. But yeah, moving on to the pairing of Moto and Logesh. I'm waiting for Shubham Das to put 2OP. Any second maybe he will be putting, yeah.
Realistically.
So yeah, Moto again, a very quick driver. Last time he was contending for WDC, WCC, everything, and now he has been paired with Logesh, one of our coordinators, newly joined coordinators, to be honest. And again, a lot of things that Moto will have to teach Logesh in terms of tier 1. Logesh has been here, it's not new. He has been here in last season with us in tier 1, so definitely he knows already what all has been done in tier 1, and we'll see. He was competing with the top boys. Definitely we remember the infamous report between Logesh and Black Sheep in the last season, which created a lot of masala and controversy and fight between the drivers and the stewards. But yeah, hopefully all of that is sorted now, and we have a much better pairing and a much better race in tier 1 going forward.
For sure, but what is racing without the masala and the drama? Anyways, moving on to the next driver pairing, we have Kapil Ace and the Banat. Kapil being, of course, one of the admin teams and a very, very quick driver. And Banat, of course, has been with us for a few seasons now. Of course, his attendance will be in question because of course, his comedic life, as in, he's a comedian. So, busy life. But anyways, still a very, very solid pairing here. And both of them, for sure, there will be a bit of a fight for, I'd say, team orders here, because both of them are, I'd say, quite equal on pace. But otherwise, a very solid pairing, and as long as they can put themselves out there race after race, be consistent race after race, they will for sure be winning the WCC here in tier 1, in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, just in the chat still, shots are being fired and people are calling it Banat Romeo. Yeah, Banat Romeo.
Yep, Banat Romeo.
And thanks to BK19 for the 110 rupees donation, and he's already showing his I can't say that word on stream, can I? Yeah. So he's already bloating himself that he's gonna be winning T2, and obviously he's thanking us commentators for the hard work, but definitely stick with us towards the end, especially for an exciting, news and exciting format, whatever, you will get to know. But yeah, moving on to the next pairing, we have the pairing of Slaya and Akash Sonavne in the Alpha Tauri. Akash Sonavne has been with us in tier 1 from the past 2 or 3 seasons, if I am not wrong, and Slaya also one of the newcomers, and directly believe he joined us in the last season, and he was in tier 2 or tier 3 for a couple of races, but immediately he is promoted to tier 1 this season based on the pace that he did and what we saw from his TT time. So definitely we were surprised by what we were seeing, and we are expecting a lot to come out from this pairing. And most of the audience who are telling right now, who are surprised how is Slaya in tier 1, I'm pretty sure you will be even more surprised when you see this man on the track.
For sure. And we're seeing a few names already. Alpha Tori. Those are solid names you guys are coming up with. Please keep them rolling. As we move on to the final driver pairing for tier 1, you have the Real SD and 8 cylinders. Real SD, WDC for Tier 1 from the last season. So, of course, he doesn't have anything to prove. He has a lot of pace naturally. So, of course, we'll have to see if he can keep defending that Tier 1 WDC title. And we have, of course, his team with 8 cylinders, or 8-cyl as we like to call him, a pretty solid and quick driver himself. So we will have to see how this team shapes up. And I know for a fact that if 8-cyl does not make the mistakes that he sometimes does, which is just unfortunate, he can for sure be there on the podium with the real SD, fighting for the WCC throughout the season.
Definitely, I can see another nickname for this team, which is 8 These, because Shubham is known for saying a lot of times these. So here it is, 8 These is this pairing name, but yeah.
I personally prefer what Adi is saying is written 8 Ciliums.
That's not a bad. Yes, that's not a bad name as well. But yeah, this is the pairing, and finally, finally, we have all the reserves in Tier 1. We have Baba, Wilsterji, Ninja, myself, and Ethan. So we all will be part of the reserve group because of our unavailability throughout the league, because we don't want to take place from the deserved and the attending. So that's why we opted for being on the sidelines and attending whenever, you know, we have some free seats in that race. But yeah, this concludes our grid reveal for tonight. And as I said, Tier 1 on Sundays at 8 p.m. Do tune in to check the closest racing. I guess even Tier 2 is gonna be very close. So Sundays are gonna be pretty exciting to watch. And if you wanna catch those streams live, do consider subscribing and turning on the notification bell that you see down there. But yeah, if you have liked what you saw till now, do consider liking the video. But moving on to the next segment of this stream, because stream is not done yet. So if you have stuck till now, yeah. Yes,
I'm saying drum rolls, please.
Yes, definitely drum rolls. Here comes. So here comes the giveaways. So definitely, if you are not part of this community, you are missing out on one of the things that we have in this community, which are giveaways. So if you are not a part of this community, do consider joining us from the links down in the description, which will take you to our website with all the steps to joining our community. And maybe next time you can be a part of this giveaway as well, and maybe you can also be winning a couple of the things that you know, our community gives back you know, to the general racer. So even if you don't have the game, maybe you stand a chance to win the game itself. So talking about the giveaway itself, we did an ACC giveaway to before we start off the or kick off the ACC league, which might happen in the next couple of weeks. We wanted more and more drivers to be coming in and racing with us. So we have the winners of the different DLCs. So we have American DLC, which has been won by Tanish and Turbo Chuk. Your Discord IDs are right there on the screen. The Challengers DLCs have been won by Slaya and Dark Knight. And finally, the ICGT DLC has been won by the Strangler himself. So Scranton Strangler. So congratulations on all the winners of the DLCs. Hopefully we will see you guys use these DLCs in our coming you know, coming ACC league that we are gonna have. But that's not all. If you thought that that's all the giveaways were, well, you are wrong. We have more giveaways. We are giving away 2 more copies of ACC base game plus the ICGT DLC. Obviously, the above drivers were chosen based on the response that they gave on the you know, Google form that we circulated, which was open to anyone in our community to fill. And obviously, the best response that we got won the DLCs. But moving on to the ACC base game and the ICGT DLC, we chose a couple of top responses from that sheet, and what we will be doing is we will just be doing a spin the wheel just to do some excitement.
Before we go there, just a second. Kake, thank you so much for the 666. He says, make ACC great again. That's in pounds, by the way. So thank you so much, Kake, for your donation. And yeah, let's get to the spin the wheel giveaway.
Yeah, definitely. Let's go to the exciting part. So we have the wheel in front of us. Whatever names you see, your name might be there, might not be there, but we will have two winners out of this wheel itself. Obviously, Blaze doesn't count because we have not yet spun the wheel. So Blaze, don't start celebrating yet. But we will soon be having the two winners who will be getting two ACC base games plus. So basically each one will be getting one ACC based game plus the ICGT DLC. So we will have two drivers who will be winning the same. And again, this giveaway was open to everyone in this community. So feel free to join our community, and maybe next time we will see your name on this wheel. But without any further delay, some drum roll. Simply, can you provide the drum roll in the background?
And the winner is.
It is sort of bad. AVD just
It is sort of.
AVD just missed there by a chance, and it was about to land on SimplyYT, but unfortunately, sort of Pat wins the base ACC game and the ICGT DLC. You will be mailed, you will be gifted the game soon by one of our IRC team members, and definitely don't forget to thank them for the enormous donation that they have given you. And obviously you can now participate in our ACC league, which is gonna start up in the next 1 or 2 weeks. But without further delay, let's draw another name from this wheel. Let's see who this wheel will be thankful to, and who can have some fun today, and who can have the enjoyment of having a brand new game in their Steam account soon. But it seems like it's gonna land on Existence. Yes, it is
My God, it is.
it is gonna land on Existence. So congratulations, Existence 5619. So do compare your Discord ID as well, because just in case if we have two Existence, I'm not sure if that's the case, but do check your Discord
Wait,
ID.
yes.
Huh? Could you repeat?
We do have two Existence, but this is the one that's been with us for a couple of seasons.
Okay. So yeah, as I said, two Existence. So do compare your Discord ID before you start to celebrate. And congratulations to both the winners. And you will also be receiving your game as a gift soon from one of our IRC team members. But that's it.
Yep.
That's our fun little last half that we have. And that brings to a conclusion of this stream. Obviously, we tried keeping it short, 1 hour stream, so that we don't bore you guys and hype it up and keep you waiting for too long to know your, grid. But that's it. Thanks a lot to Simply. Before we close, I wanna ask Simply 2 cents on what he thinks this season unfolds.
Oh, well, the season is starting from this weekend onwards, so do make sure to, of course, subscribe, turn on the notifications, and if you want to take part in these races yourself, then do make sure to join up in our Discord. The link is on your screen as well as in the description. So please join up. As far as the season goes, well, all of the tiers are pretty close, going from tier 1 all the way to tier 4. Almost all of the driver pairings will for sure be fighting for the WCC and the WDC respectively. So it's going to be a very, very big season that we're having ahead of us. And things to say for sure, every single race will be completely worth watching. So yeah, make sure to not miss out, of course, on those races, and do join up our Discord and follow us on all of our social medias.
Yeah, definitely. A good sum up there by Simply, but that's it. That brings us to the end of our stream. If you have been sticking with us still here, thank you all for being with us still here. And we will be soon getting back with the first stream of this season, which is gonna happen on the Saturdays. And thank you. Goodbye.